But yeah, Cohen talked more about his relationship with David Pecker too, where he talked about the National Enquirer editors giving Trump previews of some of the stories that they were going to publish before the 2016 election, especially stories about their opponents. And Cohen gave an example that David Pecker and Dylan Howard offered up some stories about Hillary Clinton wearing thick eyeglasses, suggesting that she had a brain injury or some sort. And a story about Marco Rubio in a swimming pool with several men doing a drug binge, which is just absolute wild. That they
See, that's why I never believed the stuff about the rumors he had an affair that Trump had planted, and what was it? And then the Post? What were we talking about? Whatever. And that's why I didn't believe any rumors about Marco Rubio being with women.
You
Well,
mean
he
Ted
lived with that
Cruz?
guy. They were I can't even remember his name
I
right
don't
now.
even remember
But
any
I
stories about Marco Rubio being
I
with
did a
women.
story about him, and he ended up getting caught up in
There's
some
one of
fraud.
those
But him
headlines.
and Marco Rubio were roommates, and I'm like, okay, all
Yeah,
right.
typically, yeah, if you're well off and you're in the political landscape, you don't typically roommate with dudes. I mean, not that we're judging, like, I don't care. But, straight dudes in politics. Anyway, that's beyond the veil of this podcast. Um, but yeah, he specifically validated the conversation or the testimony of David Pecker, and he was saying, quote, what was discussed was the power of the National Enquirer being at the cash register of so many supermarkets and bodegas, that if we could place positive stories about Trump, that would be beneficial. And if we could place negative stories about some of the other candidates, that would also be beneficial. And that was Cohen describing David Pecker's role with the campaign, unofficially, quote unquote. And then Cohen also said that Pecker offered to keep an eye out for anything negative about Trump. And this is, being part of the tabloid industry, you get a lot of leads on these stories in advance before they come out.
Yeah, of
This is,
course.
and this is how they arranged catch and kill for these other stories. Um, and then there was also the story about the doorman, Dino Sajudin rather, that had a story about a Trump fathering a child with a Trump organization employee that they determined to be false. Now we don't know like the actual falsity or the factual nature of the story, but they didn't believe it was true.
They were still willing to pay to make it go away.
Yeah, Trump told Cohen to make it go away. And then the thing is, if you think about them paying $30,000 for a story that they deem to not be true, like what does that say about them paying $150,000 to Karen McDougal and $130,000 to Stormy Daniels? It kind of puts that into perspective, right? And then also with this story about the doorman. Now I have heard it proposed that he took a lie detector test, and the lie detector test, uh, I'm the way it was inferred is that the doorman believed that the story that he had been telling was true. And that doesn't mean it was actually factual.
But if you believe it, you will pass the lie detector test.
Exactly. So if you believe something that hasn't necessarily been authenticated, and you take a lie detector test, you can pass the lie detector test, but that information turn out to not actually be factual.
Yeah.
So we're going to give Trump the benefit of the doubt on this one and say that the doorman may not have necessarily known all of the details of the situation, but he
Well,
believed what he had been told by
that doorman, I'm sure, has seen a lot of shit. So to him, he was thinking,
yeah,
that's not out of the ordinary. Like, I can believe
can't
it.
rule it
Like,
out. Can't rule it out, right? He's like, I seen
exactly.
Trump do some shit, so it's totally feasible. He's knocked up one of the maids.
He's like, I can see it.
Yeah. Totally reasonable. Cohen also talked about Karen McDougal and when her story was being shopped around, and he was asked about whether he thought the impact of the story, what the impact of the story would be. And Cohen said it would be significant, and he told Trump immediately after he got off the phone with AMI after Pecker told him the story was being shopped around. And when he asked Trump whether he knew McDougal, Trump's response was, "She's really beautiful."
Well, I guess it's better than being told you look like his daughter.
I mean,
Before he
that's just
fucks you.
okay. Fair enough. That was some creepy shit. Again, I was trying to
Oh
say,
God, yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Maybe
Because
some
that's what
people
every
would
girl
find that
wants to hear
flattering.
before a guy puts his penis in her.
Yeah,
You remind me
you
of my
remind me of my
daughter.
daughter. Yeah. Doesn't that make get you all hot and bothered? No, it's fucking creepy pedophile shit. But no, just responding to Cohen's question with "she's beautiful" is it's just a ridiculous answer. Well, clearly he knew who she was if he knew she was physically attractive. Also, wait. So after
That's my ex-wife. That's Marla.
no,
Sorry, you just can't tell anyone.
Marla was a blonde, and I think Karen McDougal. She's a brunette, right?
she's a
Yeah,
brunette.
dark hair.
Well, she's in that picture with Melania and Ivanka
She
and
was the
Trump
Playboy bunny.
when they're in their little
Yeah.
bunny outfits. I don't know if they were at the mansion or the bunny club, but
Right. Now she looks, I mean, I guess if Ivanka was a brunette, I mean, she kind of would resemble. This is weird. I don't know how we got off into. I don't like comparing physical features of women. Yeah, this is not really the pathway that I wanted to go down.
This is
I don't
not
want
the way.
maybe that's why he didn't last so long because he'd been.
He was. Yeah, he really gets it up for his daughter. He couldn't hang.
I thought we were gonna stop.
Okay, I'm sorry. Incest is never funny.
Look, but he
Never
wasn't.
funny.
We don't know for a fact that Trump's ever slept with his daughter. We're just
No.
this,
But even in the mind, it's
just
fucking
like
gross.
that Trump is fantasizing about his daughter as he's banging a porn star.
Yeah.
Yeah, some weird shit.
And that he said it publicly so many times in interviews. Like, how? Well, I mean,
that's the other thing, right? When Stormy is talking about that in court, like maybe to the jury, it's probably like, huh, that's strange. But to us, we're like, no, he said it. He says it everywhere. He said it on TV. He said it on Stern show. It's just some weird shit, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And he says it like it's totally normal. Like no one would ever bat an eye.
I can't. I'm sorry. Any person I talk to, if their father said that about them, that would even the one time would just be like,
yeah.
And if you're not in the visual medium, I was making an appalled face. That would be really fucking gross.
Yeah,
it was appalled and disgusting together
at the same time.
It was a disgusted and appalled.
Yeah, both of it. Just dad, good dad stuff. Don't do
it. Might be more
just so like, he was like, well, if she wasn't my daughter, I'd be dating her.
Yeah,
just, he like told Oprah
just casual, just throwing it out there, all casual, like it's totally cool. Like this, how we just roll like this. Nobody kicks it like this, dog. This is some weird shit. Just very strange, man. This guy at every
I didn't know he even had any other kids until he was president. They would only be like Ivanka when they were on.
And Don Jr. Don Jr. would be hanging around. He'd be on the show and shit. But yeah, that was so wild.
It's me, the other guy. All right, move on. I'm sleepy. Let's go.
All
Sorry,
right.
But yeah, he was saying that
it's 11:50.
Yes, I'm sure the audience cares what time it is that we're recording. Trump basically asked him to kill that story with Karen McDougal, and AMI supposedly was going to pay for it, and he was telling David Pecker that Trump would pay him back, and because Trump was stringing him along. That's why Michael Cohen recorded that conversation of Trump about setting up the LLC so they could funnel the money to AMI, so he could take that tape to Pecker to make him feel more comfortable that Trump wasn't going to try and screw him out of the money, which Trump did eventually, still not paying back.
I'm not. You know what? I'm going to blame Pecker because he'd known Trump for 20, 30 years. He knew who that motherfucker was. So that he really thought that he was going to get paid. Like, I'm really not feeling sorry for you because you're not going to tell me that you knew him and as dirty as the dirty bird that he was.
Yeah, known for stiffing people.
Decades that you were really feeling some type of way that you got fucked.
But you heard the way Pecker talked. Well, I mean, I heard, but like you read about the way Pecker looked up to Trump. So it was kind of one of those. It's one of those relationships where Pecker thought of Trump as a mentor, which again is some crazy shit. But I mean, that's just
what? No,
I don't know. Just the way the thinking his daughter's attractive. I don't know. Pedophile mentor.
I don't know. Maybe he saw Trump as job security. Maybe he thought if I help get Trump elected, that's going to secure me as like the go-to for the scoops. You know what I mean? Like his proximity to the power, and that if I take care of him, he's going to take care of me, and then I'm going to have a president like in my pocket. Like that's huge.
But the thing is, if Trump had just paid Pecker back for the Karen McDougal shit, Pecker probably would have paid off Stormy Daniels. And then that probably, like, once Robert Mueller started investigating Trump Russia connections, it's entirely possible that if they had done that correctly, Mueller never would have discovered these payments. It never would have spawned this investigation off to SDNY, and Cohen never would have been indicted. And then this never would have been handed off to Manhattan after Trump left office, and Trump wouldn't be on trial. So this is Trump's bad behavior coming back to bite him in the ass. This whole not paying people thing. Also,
he's that kid that you say, tie your shoes, you're gonna trip. Tie your shoes, you're gonna trip and fall.
Yeah.
Tie your shoes, you're gonna trip and fall, but doesn't want to be told anything, and then steps on their shoelaces and trips and fucking falls. Like he doesn't have an ability to not like throw himself under the bus or do things that are so incredibly stupid.
Self-sabotaging. Yes, he sabotages himself all the time, and we'll get to just a little bit more of that shortly. But also this thing of not paying people, I guess if he had managed to pull off having Cohen string Stormy Daniels along until after the election, he would have paid, and he also wouldn't have been on trial. Or if he had just never paid Cohen back, he wouldn't be on trial. So there are all these ways in which Trump's, I guess, his inane sense of trying to screw people actually could have got him off, except he eventually gave in and reimbursed Cohen, which is just wild. All the details of the trial, the one that really sticks out, Trump not putting his name on anything. He doesn't use emails. He doesn't use his phone half the time. He's just calling from other people's phones. He doesn't use text messages. He didn't sign the NDA. He had Cohen take care of the David Dennison part. But he's such a fucking penny pincher, and he has to manage every little cent that comes out of the Trump organization that he had to personally sign those checks to Michael Cohen instead of having someone else at the Trump organization sign them for him. And that's what bit him in the ass, because it's indisputable that Trump was unaware of the plot to keep the story from coming out before the election. And it's indisputable that he paid Cohen back because he signed the checks. And the crazy shit about the checks is it's not like they came to Trump from the Trump organization to the White House. No, they went to his bodyguard's house, and the bodyguard personally brought them bitches all the way up to DC to have Trump sign them by hand. It's wild.